Pornography, or porn as it is known, is sexually explicit media, primarily intended to sexually arouse the viewer. This media typically includes portrayals of nudity and/or sexual acts.
So pornography in and of itself is not a bad thing, but what we are seeing around the issues with pornography is the ease of access, especially for young people. So at this point, all you need is access to the internet and you're able to view pornography. We're also seeing issues with the content of pornography that is increasingly more violent and more degrading, typically towards women. We're also seeing more graphic images, and again, these are typically of women. There's also issues around the attitudes that underpin this content. So the increasing violence, the increasing degradation, the increasing objectification of women are attitudes which promote and which normalise gender inequality.
It is easily accessible to everyone, including children and young people who are at a stage in their life where they are forming their ideas around gender roles, identities, relationships and sexuality. It is used as sexual education by young people despite them acknowledging that it is unrealistic. It promotes masculine domination and female submission as being part of a normal sexual relationship. It promotes a narrow view of sexually acceptable body shapes and sizes. It is increasingly more graphic, violent and degrading towards women, and it uses sexist and racist stereotypes.
Mainstream porn is easily and widely available on the internet and accessible via other mediums such as DVDs. This means that porn is easier to create, distribute and view, which is happening with 48% of young males viewing porn by the age of 12. These young people are at a stage in their lives where they are forming ideas about gender roles, identities, relationships and sexuality. As porn is increasingly more violent, degrading and graphic, this is a real concern.
It contributes to inequality by supporting violence against women. It depicts unequal gender relations where men are in control and women's independence is limited. It shows unequal, rigid gender stereotypes and roles, and it emphasises aggression and disrespect towards women.
Porn eroticises inequality. Porn not only suggests that violence against women is okay, but it says it's sexy. This happens because porn is normalised and highly gendered, with 56% of 15 to 20-year-old males viewing porn at least weekly. Porn also contributes to non-consensual behaviour.
Pornography normalises male or masculine domination and female feminine submission in a sexual relationship. This type of content is dangerous as it distorts what is normal in a healthy relationship. Pornography, with its depiction of aggression and violence towards women, can also place women's health and safety at risk. Pornography also puts female enjoyment of sexual activity as secondary to a man's.
It accepts and promotes that violence towards women is okay and actually sexy. It shows that men are in control of decision making and that consent from women is not necessary. It promotes male peer relations which emphasise aggression and disrespect towards women. It depicts men as being controlling, dominant and aggressive, while women are depicted as being submissive, eager and willing to please. Research has shown that these stereotypical ideas can contribute to the probability of violence against women. Also, the content of porn normalises, encourages and condones violence against women.
Porn contributes to drivers of violence against women by the portrayal of rigid gender roles and a stereotype construction of masculinity and femininity. Men are often depicted as aggressive, controlling and dominant in porn, and women are often depicted as submissive, eager and willing to comply with the demands of the male character.
So of the drivers, it certainly contributes to the condoning of violence towards women. So not only is this depicted in pornography at an increasing rate, but what we're seeing is that women's response in pornography to these violent or degrading acts is acceptance or even pleasure.
Research shows that pornography is the predominant sex educator for young people and has an impact on their views around body image, sexual health, pleasure, relationships, gender roles, race, ethnicity, performance and negotiating consent. A study has found that more frequent consumption of pornography by young men is associated with an increased likelihood of them engaging in behaviours that are unwanted by the other person.
Research on the effects of porn on young people says that there are concerns about women playing subservient roles and the influence that this might play on men's attitudes and behaviours around power over women. Young girls are worried that young men may pressure them into unwanted, degrading, violating and painful sex, such as what they've seen in porn videos.
So, recent research conducted by Our Watch here in Australia has found that there is a link between an increased consumption of pornography and attitudes around condoning disrespect towards women. The research also showed that whilst young people acknowledge the depictions of sexual relations in pornography is not normal, they are also admitting to using it as their default sexual education material.
We can make pornography safer for young people by limiting their exposure and access to pornography. We can encourage young people to critique what they see. We can help young people develop the skills necessary to resist the influences of porn, and by educating young people around what is a healthy relationship through the use of open and honest conversations around sex, sexual relationships and the impact of pornography.
Pornography is not going away, so we must provide education and have conversations with young people around healthy relationships and attitudes. As adults, we can limit their exposure and accessibility to porn, equip them to critique what they see, help them to develop skills to resist porn's influence, and inspire young people to see that relationships and sex can be better than what they see in porn videos.
By opening up communication lines between older people, this might be parents, teachers, counsellors, and young people, having those difficult conversations about pornography, we need to equip young people with the internal dialogue and the ability to critically analyse what they are viewing, to critique it and to question the images that are portrayed in porn, the relationships that are portrayed in porn, and the sexual acts that are portrayed.